Twins right, Twins left, tight end in on the right side. There's your snap to Kelson, throwing over the right, looking for Hyer. He has what a catch, Tyler. Hyer going down, somehow keeping the defender off of them. Jacob Roller had him covered like a blanket, and Hyer finds a way to get some space and bring that one in. Wasatch is on the board. Kelson to Hyer. Yeah, you heard that a lot last night. JoJo Hyer all over the football field. Matt Kelson knows what he's got out there with him at the wide receiver position. Found him off in 11 catches, 190 yards receiving. JoJo's coming on right now with us in our athlete spotlight. JoJo, thanks for taking a little bit of time this morning, early on Saturday morning, to come in and talk with us. We appreciate you taking the time to come in this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me come out.
This is the reward for having the big game. You know, we don't do film anymore, but if you have a big game, you got to come on early and still have to wake up early.
JoJo, your experience out there, only a junior, but you got a lot of time as a sophomore out there on the field. Something that we noticed, you've made a change from your sophomore year to your junior year, and that's in the number. You're in the high 80s. I think it was 88 last year, right, that you were wearing?
Yeah.
You switched over to number 6 now. What's inspiring the change to number 6?
I was always number 6, and it's a smaller jersey. It fits me better. So
Okay.
I got to be looking good out there.
Just the size of the jerseys. Have you been following the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets and Zach Wilson telling him he needs to have the elastic in the sleeves? Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you're more Zach Wilson, new school. You need that thing to be tight, looking good on you, not the Aaron Rodgers baggy. Who's the best dressed football player on the team? Who's the one that's got the most swagger out there?
On our team?
Yeah.
Me.
You got it. All right, number 6 there. I thought it might be like a LeBron James tribute or something. You're going to LeBron or Dr. J even, something like that. All right, you just got to look good with the swag. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of basketball, if you didn't play football, what would be your go-to sport outside of football if you didn't play football?
I'll play basketball. When I was little, I actually said I wanted to be an NBA player, but I switched over to football.
Yeah, so what caused the switch from basketball to football?
I just started watching football and playing football more, and I just fell in love with it when I was in 4th grade.
College football, NFL football?
I think college football has better games, but NFL playoffs, there's nothing really like it.
Yeah, I agree.
So when you say you kind of got hooked on this sport when you were younger, what's your favorite football memory? Or let me rephrase this. What's kind of the first football memory that you have that you were like, oh man, I love football?
I loved it so much when I was little. I'd throw on the pads. My parents would buy me, and I'll just throw it to myself in the backyard.
I'd just throw it up and go catch it.
But my first year was fun. I was actually a quarterback back then. I lived down in St. George. But I don't know, just thinking back on all the years, every year I have good memories from every year playing football.
So just it started young. You had pads, obviously, when you were little. Did you ask your parents to get that, or were they?
Yeah, my parents bought it for me for Christmas. They were going to let me play in 3rd grade, and they took me to the Seahawks game, so I had to wait another year.
Oh, nice. I've never been to Seattle, but I hear that's the best place to watch a game. Maybe Arrowhead has them beat. They say those two are kind of the best ones. But was it pretty loud and crazy there in Seattle?
It was super loud. It was crazy.
Were those the glory years where they were really competitive? Marshawn Lynch in
2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So is that a Seahawks fan then, or do you have another NFL
I was a
team?
Lions fan at the time because Calvin Johnson. I got to see him play.
A Lions fan. They really do exist over here. I didn't know we had Lions.
I'm not a Lions fan anymore though. I like the Giants now.
Giants.
Yeah,
Why the Giants?
Because I just loved OBJ when I was little. I loved him, so.
You got a little bit of the OBJ. I watch you guys in warm-ups, and I see the one-handed, the Beckham Jr. catches going on out there. What's your favorite football memory? Like
your own, right? Is that what you're going for, or just
yeah, your own. When you've personally been playing, what's your favorite one? So your own Odell Beckham Jr. type moment. What's your favorite moment there?
I think probably my kick return touchdown from last year was cool. No, I haven't really experienced anything like that. It's just a whole different feeling.
It's got to be, you got to be a little bit sick and twisted to catch kicks and go running full steam into 11 guys that are coming trying to kill you. But I saw last night too. You're returning punts this year as well, right? It's got to be even more intimidating, isn't it, to return punts than kickoffs?
I don't think it's like that scary back there. You're kind of just you're just getting that mind frame, and it's you don't even think about it.
We want to get to know you a little bit, JoJo. What were you're only a junior, but you're on track to have some good success on the football side. What are some plans that you have for after high school? Some goals?
My goal is to go play college football, Division I, hopefully. I do a lot of off-season work and try to get recruited, and that's the goal. Trying to break the records this year and get some offers.
It seems like a different animal over the last few years to get recruited than it was even 10 years ago.
What's someone in your shoes like have to do to be noticed and be recruited by the collegiate level?
It's hard to know what to do, but a couple players on Wasatch, we have like a recruiter or whatever, and he helps us with it. And just getting your film out there and getting to know coaches and all that.
So is that like, it's like a paid service, someone whose job is to go out and pump out your film and connect you with schools?
Yeah, we work with Alpha Recruits, so I paid them freshman year, and then I've been working with them since then.
Okay. Have you been able to have any conversations with schools yet?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of coaches, just small things. I didn't have a lot of film from last year, but hopefully this year I'll pick up.
Yeah, well, you've already got a lot of film that you can put from game one there with that. How did, let's move to last night's game for a second. How did you feel about the game last night? How did that go for you, both individually and as a team? Did it kind of follow your expectations? Did you get the ball maybe a little more, a little less? Or was it right, kind of what the game plan felt like it was going to be? How did you feel about the game last night?
I feel like our team competed well, especially in the first half and then coming out of halftime. And I was pretty happy with being able to get the ball more than I was last year. I was looking forward to that, but there was a couple of plays I wish I could have capitalized on. I just got tackled at the very end, but other than that, I feel like we played pretty well until we kind of just let it slip away at the end.
What are kind of some differences? You know, we're new. Last year we had Coach Lindley and Coach Roberts as the offensive coordinators, now moving on to Coach Knight. What are some differences that you've noticed, if any, from last year's to this year's kind of scheme and just offense?
Well, we really went away from the one screen last night. I think I caught one screen last night. So Coach Knight is more like just pick apart the defense in the middle area. The safeties were playing so far back, you couldn't really push it deep. But we also, it's more drop back and RPO, I feel like, this year than it was last year. And I like this offense more personally.
When you talk about the one screen, I'm sure a lot of our listeners aren't sure what you're talking about there with that. Explain that a little bit. What is the one screen? How does that work?
It's just the play that we ran a ton last year with Crew, or the farthest outside receiver would just go up a little bit and come back to the ball, and the receivers would block for him.
So you're into the trips formation to the right, and you would be the outside receiver is what you're saying. And then basically it's kind of like an extended run play almost, right, where you're just running kind of lateral with the line of scrimmage, and then those other two receivers go out and block for you.
Yeah.
Who, out of those blocking receivers, who's the one that you love seeing the most in front of you, where you're like, oh, I'm going to be free because this guy's leading the way for me?
Well, when Carter's out there, he's like a freight train from running back. But they all do a great job of blocking.
Yeah, Carter really, he was a bruiser last night. Did a really good job out there, both the running back and I know he's played that slot receiver position as well, very well. You playing receiver for Wasatch is becoming a pretty high-profile thing. Do you have any receivers from the past Wasatch teams that you look up to, or you notice when you were younger, like, oh, I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna play like they did. I'm gonna be the one that people recognize out there. Are there any guys from the past that you looked up to?
Not a ton, but last year, just talking to Crew, I just always tell him, I'm gonna try to break records this year.
Well, you're off to a pretty good start. So what are the do you have those in your mind?
I think he had like 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns.
So you're on pace here. You know, well, I guess you got to have a 3-touchdown game, right? If you're playing 9 games this year,
you have one. Well,
regular season, playoff game, and then playoffs, and everyone will make the playoffs at least for one game this year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, you're on a pretty good pace here, but the schedule gets tougher moving forward as well. And you'd have to imagine that now that the tape is coming on you, the teams are going to start scheming a little bit to shut you down. What did you see last night? Was there a lot of double coverage? Did you have a lot of man-to-man, a lot of zone? What kind of coverage were you looking at?
In the start of the night, they were playing like off the ball a lot, and then in the second half, they started doing like a corner would press me, and the safety would play over the top, which opened up some some throws in between the safety and the corner. But it was a little bit harder to open in the second half than the first half, but it was still good game overall.
Talk to us a little bit about the connection between you and Mac. You guys both same grade, been playing together for a while, and a lot of the schemes that we run, it's just a matter of timing and just Mac knowing this is where Joe's going to be at a certain time. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, me and Mac have been playing together since I moved here in 5th grade, so we've always had like that chemistry or whatever, where there's know where each other's going to be on the field. Like, even if the route gets messed up, he'll just put it in a place where he knows I can get it. And
was there ever quarterback competition between you two? You say you played quarterback before you moved here. Did you tell him you're coming for his job, or how'd that go down?
Well, freshman year, I was his backup. Now I always make fun of him for that. But back when I moved here, I actually played running back and middle linebacker, believe it or not. So Versatile.
Your man of many talents out there on the
No,
field.
Mac was middle linebacker and running back.
Mac was.
I was still a receiver.
Oh, I missed that. I misheard you on that one.
You know, he didn't play quarterback with me till like 8th grade. So
We're still waiting for Mac to grow since that 5th grade year. I mean, that'd be nice if they could put on some weight there. You're listening to junior standout wide receiver JoJo Hyer. He was really the standout performer of the season opener last night for Wasatch. 11 catches, 190 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns here. JoJo, we're a little bit short on time here, but a couple final questions just to kind of get you out of here. I always like to know who's the best trash talker on the football team.
I gotta say it's me.
Yeah, all right. So you look the best trash talker.
So who's the best trash talker? Like, if you're going to trash talk with somebody on the team, who's going up against you?
I always like to talk trash against Mac when I'm on defense because it's always funny.
Does Mac give it back to you? Or
He talks back.
What about scariest coach?
Scariest coach? Last year was Coach Knight. He was scary last year, but yeah, I'd probably still Coach Knight or Coach Coburn, but.
So Coach Knight, has he dialed it down a little bit?
He dialed it down. He's become more. He's more chill this year, but last year he was with her shoulder. He was a little scary.
How about this favorite uniform combo the Wasatch has?
I think the all gray this year is going to look sweet.
All gray.
I like
a new one.
I like the all white though. It was looking good last night. It was clean.
Bro, we'll get you out of here on this question. You guys moving from week 1 to week 2. You're on the road up to Skyview High School next week. What are the areas of focus that you think the team is going to try to lock in moving from week 1 to week 2 to try to improve and go get a win up at Skyview next week? What's going to be the conversation?
I think we see a dial in our run defense, obviously from last night, and I think that at times it was there. So I think we'll pull that together and then running the ball and passing the ball, just get better all around. I think.
That's junior standout football star for Wasatch High School, JoJo Hyer. JoJo, thanks so much for taking the time this morning, waking up early, coming in and talk with us. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you over the course of the season calling your name out there. You're listening to Crossing the T's with Tyler Moss and Tyler Baird. Back after this.